Hello, everyone. Welcome to Next Level Humanity podcast. I have a dear guest here, Shefqet Avdullau. It's such a hard surname. Welcome, Shefqet. You know, we have this similar name in Turkey, Shefqet.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll tell the story, but thank you for having me, first of all. Absolutely, it's a pleasure. I was in last week, I was in Istanbul for Takeoff Summit. I was invited to that one, and everybody was telling me, it's a name that we have in Turkey as well. And I said, okay, what does it mean in Turkish? And they said, someone said it means something peaceful. Someone said we don't know what it means. There is no actual meaning in Turkish. I don't know what exactly it means. And I said, yeah, in Albania it means something. It means quiet boss, quiet chief. So because there are Albanians in Turkey who arrived way back, I guess the name might have come there, or it came on the reverse. I don't know. But yeah, I learned about that in Istanbul.
Probably, yeah. So, Shefqet, welcome. It's lovely to have you here. You are an angel investor like me. You're also an advisor, mentor. You're the member of Keiretsu Forum in London. You're also the member of Keiretsu Forum Northwest and Rockies. And welcome. So my first question to you will be, so your journey has led you from the role of angel investor, being an advisor, also a mentor, to positions that require more visibility. What first drew you into this world, into the world of investment and also Keiretsu? What's your story, background?
Right. So yeah, I mean, my foundation is in tech. I was a software engineer for over 13 years, and then serial founder, founded ventures of my own. And I came to a point about 4 years ago where I wanted to invest in a company, and then I found a way to invest in that company, and then I landed on a group of investors, and one of those investors, was lucky that he became my mentor, and he was doing private equity investments for about 33 years at the time, and he basically gave me the head start that would have taken me 15-20 years to actually learn the pitfalls, how to do due diligence, how to build a good investment strategy, and that's what I've been practicing in these 4 years. So at that point it was a bit of a curiosity, but then I asked myself, do I want to go on and build one more company and solve one more problem? Or do I leverage all the expertise, the network, and the capital that I've accumulated over the years to help other founders build, 20 more companies, 30, 50 companies, hopefully, to solve as many such problems. So that's what it really came down to. It was basically, a leverage question, and all that lucky stumbling that I had with that mentor of mine that kind of, helped me make the decision to focus entirely on this angel investing, advising, and mentoring. And this is what I've been doing for the last 4 years. I've got 60 investments to date, 17 actually, one unannounced yet investment, and 2 exits already completed. So
Lovely. Yeah, lovely. It's such a success, because I find it, as an angel investor, I usually find it hard to pick the companies and all the data analysts, and yeah, it is I think hard, tough choice. But with the expertise and with your background, I think you're finding it easier than I am. So looking back at your early life experiences and your relationship with money, responsibility, and long-term thinking, what shaped your relationship with money, responsibility, and long-term thinking? Like which experiences? And I know you decided to support the companies, and with your expertise mentor other companies other than building new products. And when you look back, what shaped your experience with building ventures and also managing companies? And
yeah, I mean, at some point, at some point in life. So thank you for the question. So yeah, I mean, learning about the relationship with money is absolutely important, I think, for everyone. But at some point in my life, I understood that money is really the time preserved for everyone. And the same amount of money means different things for different people. So what I understood was that for someone to earn, let's say, 100 euros, it may take them a week, whereas for someone else, it may take them, I don't know, 5 seconds. So that, in essence, taught me that these people are paying with different amount of time of their life. So somebody who made it in 5 seconds is paying with 5 seconds of their life, and someone who made it in a week, they're paying for a week with their life. And so that led me to actually manage it wisely and not waste it. Of course, there are times that you want to have some nice things in your life, but overall, I treat it as a key to expand the jail we're all in. Because in essence, yes, we do have the freedom. We're free, but a good number of things in life need some capital, need some money for you to be able to do them. So you want to go to some place, you're going to need to pay for transportation to reach there, or maybe you're going to take a long run by going on foot, but you're going to pay for shoes. I don't know. So in any way, the amount of freedom and the space we have available to some extent is determined by the amount of capital that we have at our disposal. So that's what taught me to use it in essence to earn a little bit more freedom in my life.
Yeah, lovely the way you put it, and I guess you understood, like maybe most of the community we have as angel investors, LPs, that time is money is a cliche, but it literally is. It's like we're paying with our lives, we're paying with our time.
Absolutely.
And time is money, and I think that's one of the biggest transformations humans can ever have, understanding what money really is. And it's kind of like a transactional unit for the value we bring into this life. That's why people earn different values according to their values in the time spent, because it's all about what your value is.
Yeah, what you do to make it. Yeah, what you do to make it more expensive, basically.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Lovely. Thank you. It's a big lesson for our founders and our investments. Was there any defining moments or a defining moment when you realized you wanted to support other people rather than building other founders?
Were there any other defining moments that I wanted to support others than building? So yes, in the beginning of my journey, about 4 years ago, it was, I reached this point, like I said, that I could just, build one more thing myself, or I was going to be more effective in bringing some impact to this world by actually helping other founders do that, like leveraging all I had to help them in that journey and solve way more problems that I can't solve alone. So that's when I realized by leveraging all that, I would, and the way would be to actually help the other founders in whatever they need to actually be able to bring that impact to the world. And that's what I've been doing so far, and I love it. I take 7-8 meetings a day when I am not in events and stuff like that with founders. Most of them are going to be with founders that are aligned with my investment thesis, but some of them are not aligned. But I do take those meetings because still, for two reasons. One, I love helping founders, but the most important part is also that I don't read news much. I don't get educated on these like recent pieces of information like from the news side, but I talk with founders because I've understood that it helps me learn what the future is holding, because they are building it. They are out there and they learn and they can see, and they're way more in depth with what they can help me understand what's coming in the future. And that's why I do take all those meetings to actually benefit as well, apart from being able to help them on their journey. But that's
you're right. Yeah, they are very much updated on the area they are working on. I mean, sometimes they are very, as you know, they are very disconnected from the worldview and what world holds. And I usually see it in relationships, in what's happening in the world. But what they have is they are so aligned with their path and their problem and their vision, they have a crystal clear view of what's going on that path. So it's just brilliant in a way. It has its disadvantages and advantages. So I love meeting with founders and listening to them and listening to their ideas and their brilliant way of staying on their path.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're unique.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love all that, their concentration, because it helps them and, succeed, because there is no other way to succeed other than staying focused in what you're doing and going as deep, as wide as you can on what you're actually doing. But yeah, like I said, that helps me a lot, when they share that laser focused information that they have basically for what they're building and where they're
Yeah, and let's also talk about Keiretsu Forum. What led you there, and what values guided you to decisions long before you became part of global investor communities like Keiretsu Forum?
So, I was invited in a session as a guest by a good fellow investor. She's actually from Turkey as well. So yeah, she invited me to the London chapter, and I loved that session. I saw that there are other fellow investors in that angel network who are on the same path, and basically that gave me the message that let me see if there's any way for me to extract some value out of this network in terms of leveraging their expertise to help me make my decisions, in terms of learning from their the way that they view things, the questions they ask, and all that, because as an individual there is only so much we can learn about stuff and so much we can be an expert on, whereas as a group, as a collective, by leveraging everybody's expertise, I can actually delve into other sectors that I love because of the impact that they bring to the world, but I may not know much about them like in the background. And one of those is the health tech side. I know the tech side very well, but I don't know much about the health and bio on the background. So by being part of these angel networks, there are other fellow investors in these networks that know those sectors and the industries very well. So I can easily ask them what they think about it, or I can. And there's one beautiful thing with Keiretsu Forum in particular, that after each pitch we have the mind sharing session where investors share what they think about the pitch that they just listened to. And we can actually talk and share thoughts and ask each other to understand more on the deal, on the opportunity. So that's basically how it started with the London chapter. And then once you join one of the Keiretsu Forum chapters, you have the right to attend any other chapter in the world of Keiretsu Forum. And then one time I attended the Northwestern one in US and in Rocky. And I loved it. I right away I fell in love with what they're doing in that chapter there, and for me it's one of the best ones in the world, even though their membership fees are a little bit expensive. But I love what they're doing. The president they're running that chapter, Nathan McDonald, is doing a fantastic job. I love what they're doing, and I said I'm gonna sign up. I don't need to, but I will get my membership here as well, so I can support you and get some value out of that. But I definitely love that chapter, and of course I love the London one as well, because it brings some deal flow from the other side that's not coming much from US. And recently, about 6 months ago or so, I learned about the chapter that's here in the Southeast Europe. I didn't know they existed before that. So and it's run by two of my, it's run by my fellow countrymen. And I said, I'm going to join you as well as a member. I don't need to, but I will support you. And that's I'm basically most probably the only one who might have three
different memberships.
Three memberships. And so I was joking when I joined the most recent one, in the southeastern one. I said, I'm going to ask the Guinness Book of World Records if there is any way I can get a world record on this one, because I'm the only one. But yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, what actually is very interesting is you said you have been angel investing for over 4 years, and you now have 2 exits. It's just it's an amazing number. It's like in 4 years, 2 exits. I'm like, I'm still can't like figure it in my head since you said it. So I mean,
Yeah,
how do you evaluate potential? Because because it's uncertainty, and that's a great gift.
most definitely, but I will tell you. So, I mean, evaluating, startups and finding companies that will reach an exit is a tough one, and I'm totally with you on that one. But it's two things. One is that definitely my mentor helped me on building the strategy that I'm executing right now, and part of that strategy is that I'm stage agnostic. So he told me that in the beginning, put most of your investment in the earlier stages, but do also some investments in the more advanced stages, like bridge, late seed or Series A, Series B, and so on, or even pre-IPO, because that will basically help you preserve some of that capital, but also it will bring you some returns on top of that. And that strategy has been, until you reach a point, you said, where you have those earlier investments bringing in, exiting and bringing some dry powder for you to keep on investing, and that will basically get the flywheel effect going. So you'll have more capital, you invest more, and it brings more, and so on. But yeah, invest some of the late stages, and that's what I've been doing. And so far, the strategy has been working wonderfully, because my first exit was a 3.6x multiple in less than a year hold time. The second one was...
Was it Series D, E, pre-IPO?
It was pre-IPO, so it was
pre-IPO.
Yeah. So I got secondaries on that, and then the other one was it was through Creative Forum Northwest. The name is Lumithera basically, and they got partially acquired by Alcon, and Alcon is a big company in the ophthalmics and the devices and everything. So anything related to eye, disease or everything. So they're a huge company. Basically, they acquired the company, and it was a milestone-based acquisition. But because they're a big company, they're estimating that they will reach all the milestones, and the estimate is that it will be a 9 to 12x multiple. Again, less than a year whole time, and the part of the company that did not acquire, that is getting spun off, and I'm waiting to get the pro shares on that as well. So I still have the company, holding the company still. So yeah, that's basically
great strategy.
Yeah,
great strategy.
Yeah, definitely helping me so far.
Yeah. I'm gonna go into something more deeper, because I have a question, a more maybe philosophical question, because you yourself have been a founder, you have exits, and you also are working with founders, mentoring. So I have seen, because my background is behavioral health sciences, I just, with that hat on, I can't take it off. And I analyze founders with their behavioral habits and their mindsets and mind habits. And I've been seeing this pattern of startup founders, because they are so focused on fast growth and hacking growth, and they're interested in 5-year, 6-year, 8-year goals, and they are on the fast track of life. I see that being reflected into their friendships, personal friendships, and personal lives as well, which I don't think is highly healthy. So my question would be, what patterns have you noticed in founders who grow companies but who don't grow character, or who grow character as well? So I'm going to ask you two things. So because there are some founders who grow companies, and also they grow character, but there are some founders who grow companies but can't grow character. Have you noticed both patterns, and how do you see that fast growth and hacking mindset? And because I've personally seen, with that growth hacking mindset, in a way, some of them start seeing human relationships disposal and like fast food.
Yeah.
Which is not building great relationships. And I've been, hearing from investors, VCs, friends complain. So my question is, what do you think is going on there, and how can we support founders both grow companies and both build character?
So, I mean, noticing founders who grow not only companies but character. I've seen like let's say two rare things that make the difference. One is humility, and the other is obsession. So, the ones who grow character are the ones who admit what they don't know. So they have to have that humility, and they don't try to fake the answer basically. So
Who are honest and who are sincere and who are humans,
most definitely,
just humans.
Most definitely. And on the other hand, you also see them like treating their, let's say, entry level junior stuff with the same respect that they would treat me during a pitch, let's say. So that consistency tells me like everything basically. And if they have those two, like the humility and but also staying focused and not wandering off trying to do anything else other than what they are, will eat from their time and will eat from their energy and will eat from their relationships and the quality of their relationships. So by staying focused, they will spend a good amount of time in making progress than wasting it, and then they will probably hopefully will have some time to spend on those relationships and on themselves. And but yeah, I would say humility and lots of obsession would definitely be like the rare blend of qualities.
Yeah. How do you balance intuition with experience when making investment or advisory decisions?
Balancing intuition and experience when making investment advisory decisions. I mean, experience, gives you the data basically in some sense, but intuition tells you how to read it. So there are two different tools that help for reaching the same result. So, I mean, for example, the experience would say the margin looks tight, whereas intuition would say, the founder is hiding something. So that's basically there are two different.
Lovely example, to the point.
Yeah.
Brilliant example.
Yeah. So I mean, I let the experience build a checklist, but I let the intuition, make the final call, because if the numbers work, but my gut feels heavy, I'll walk away, because every time I've ignored that feeling, I've regretted it.
Very intelligent. Yeah. And you have a lot of experience with people as well, so it's sometimes it's kind of like you don't know how you know, but you just know.
You just know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, lovely. And over time, because you have been mentoring many founders over time, and you love mentoring, and I can connect with that because my background is behavioral health sciences. I'm a teacher. I'm a mentor. I love helping people, and it's such a fulfilling journey. I can truly connect with when you say, I just love helping founders, because once you're at a level in your life where you have the experience, the wisdom, the knowledge, you just want to help, you just want to support. So over time, what has mentoring taught you about patience, restraint, and timing?
So, I mean, over time, what has mentoring taught me about patience, restraint, and timing? It's taught me that sometimes you have to let people stumble and fall, because that's really the hardest part that I had to push myself to stay back in those cases, because if I fix every problem for a founder, I will steal them of that lesson. I will rob them of that chance to learn the lesson. Restraint is knowing the answer but waiting until they're ready to hear it. So I would say mentorship is not dragging someone across the finish line and it's pacing them so they can cross it themselves. Because yes, I can push them, but they didn't learn much. They didn't learn how to do it. They didn't build that muscle to actually run on a marathon. If I just carried them on my shoulders. So I want them to actually build that muscle, so they do it themselves. But yeah, I guess that's.
Yeah, themselves. Lovely. And you're still an active member of Keiretsu Forum with 3 memberships across regions. What role does community play in responsible investment? So you said you love them, and what are the maybe some ethics or values they have that they're basically the reason why you love them. I'm very inspired on becoming a member myself.
Yeah, I mean, being an active member of Keiretsu Forum across regions and the roles the community play in responsible investing, I would say. I mean, it helps me break the echo chamber, if I may say it in a sentence, basically. So when my mentor told me, when you invest alone, you will fall in love with your own logic. So but in a community,
and it's not a great idea.
Yeah. But in a community like Keiretsu, like you have, I don't know, in meetings, sometimes it's going to be 20 other people, sometimes it's going to be 30, 50 other people. So you have other smart people poking holes in the thesis, in the opportunity. So it forces some kind of discipline, basically, and those questions kind of make you view things from another angle that you had no idea about. And so and also the integrity, the resiliency, and the whole grit in Keiretsu is absolutely lovely. I feel that we investors, we try to protect each other from our own kind of blind spots.
That's a great strategy.
Yeah, it's a responsible. I would say it's a responsible investing, like a team sport in some sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And why do you believe mentorship is as just important as capital in early stage?
Oh yeah, I believe mentorship is just as important, if not actually more important than capital in the early journeys, because capital buys you time, but mentorship buys you speed. So you can burn through $1 million making like the same mistake, like mistake that I even made in years ago. So but you can take a 30-minute meeting with me and skip those entire pitfalls, because there are things that I had to learn the hard way, and I can notice the patterns like we talked earlier, and you definitely are going to get lots of benefit from that, and compared to just having the runway left where you can keep on getting these mistakes to burn the money. So if I would sum it up, I would say money keeps the lights on, but wisdom keeps the direction true.
Yeah, lovely words. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And what kind of founders do you feel most compelled to support beyond the pitch decks and the traction and the data? Like intuitively, what characteristics are you looking for? And who do you tend to support?
I mean, the kind of founders that I feel most compelled to support, beyond the pitch deck and traction, I would say the ones who are building something that needs to exist, and not just another app that will save 5 seconds, but something that fundamentally improves a life or an industry. So I'm drawn to those founders who are like mission driven, like almost to like a fault, basically. So you can feel that energy. It's not about the exit, really. It's about the impact. It's the last investment prior to one that I made that I've not announced yet, and you're gonna love this last one that I invested in and I have not announced, by the way, but. The last one that I invested before that was a company that is trying to find a permanent solution for diabetes, and so that drive basically to help bring that solution to the world and the impact it will make to the world. It's something that I'm definitely behind them all the time. So I'll definitely back them in a day, because that and I invested in them even though they're not aligned with my investment thesis, because they're not at the stage that I generally invest in, but the question I asked myself was what if this works? There is a high chance that it's going to fail and I'm going to lose the money, but what if it works? What it will do for the world and the people that have got this disease? It will be so much, high impact towards better health for the whole world, and I'm going to be so proud when that happens, and I'm going to say, I did have something to do with it, even though it was whatever small amount it was, it's still something I had to do with it. And there have been other founders that if they are with the aim for bringing some impact to the world, I would definitely back them. Like other founders that one is trying to solve, the freedom of choice for payments, others in mobility. So yeah, if they have an aim for an impact to the world and humanity, I definitely back them.
Yeah. So you're looking for meaningful projects and companies and social impact.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge plus. I don't want to lie. The financial returns are definitely a goal, but definitely when I pair them with some of the impact in the world, I go all in basically.
Yeah, lovely. And what impact do you hope your guidance will make with the people you advise, regardless of the social impact and the financial outcomes?
I hope, the impact that I hope my guidance, has on the people I advise, regardless of the financial outcomes, is, I hope they become better decision makers at the end of the day. So whether the company becomes a unicorn or it falls, if that founder walks away with a sharper compass, more resilience, and better leadership skills, then, the investment was worth it. And so, I want to help build better leaders, not just bank accounts. So that's what I would say. I wanted to share a little bit about this last investment that I did, and you're definitely going to love it because it's outside of my investment thesis, but I'm backing them because they're my fellow Albanians and they're building something to help solve the disengagement in workplace, and that's costing companies a ton of money. It's in the trillions basically worldwide, but we'll definitely hopefully touch base on that, and maybe we can join forces for you.
Yes, sure.
Maybe you can be their advisor as well on the behavioral psychology side of the project.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to. Yeah. Thank you. So a personal question again, what belief about success or investing have you outgrown over the years?
What belief about success or investing have I outgrown over the years? I would say that I need to be the smartest person in the room. I used to think that I have to have all the answers, but that's not the case anymore. So now I realize that my job is to ask the right questions. So if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room basically.
It's not working.
So I've made the wrong investment. I don't want to be the smartest person. I want the founder to actually be the smartest one on that.
Yeah. And I understood that the way you define value is about social impact, meaningful projects. My question is, in moments of uncertainty, you probably decide intuitively, but what are the principles that guide your thinking and keep you grounded? What's your secret over there?
Yeah, in moments of uncertainty, the principles that guide my thinking and keep me grounded, there's one thing really. I focus on what I can control. So, the market will do what it does. Competitors will appear, of course, but I try to go back to the basics and is the company I'm investing solving a real problem, and are they treating their talent, their people right, and are they watching the cash flow, so I would say those are like the simple truths that anchor me when the world gets noisy.
Yeah, that's great. And of course we investors, angels, and also mentors carry a huge responsibility because capital is shaping the future. What do you think our responsibilities are as angels and as mentors?
Our responsibility as angels, as mentors, I would say the way I see it is we are the gatekeepers of innovation. So what we fund is what grows basically. So we definitely have a massive responsibility to fund things that make the world, healthier, maybe smarter or more sustainable, dare I say. So we aren't just betting on the equity, on the stock. So we are kind of voting for the kind of future we want to live in, basically.
Yeah.
So it's a huge responsibility, absolutely.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And we have come to an end for our podcast. I'm going to ask you one more question, but thank you. It has been a lovely conversation. I learned a lot, and you also triggered some deep thinking, about investments and angel investing and overall my strategy in investments. So thank you for that. I find it very valuable to speak with fellow investors and also ex-founders, who have done successful exits, because you are a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. So thank you for sharing that with us.
No, thank you for having me. I mean, I'm loving this. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I love helping you, but also your audience. However I can help, especially on the founders.
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely, always happy to help.
I'm sure they learned a lot. And finally, one question: if you could leave one message for the first-time founders who are listening to us right now and new angel investors who are starting brand new, and some of them are listening to us, what would that be?
Okay, I need to make this with a punch. So, I mean, the final message I would like to leave for the first time founders is listen more than you speak. So listen, and but there is one particular kind of voice that you need to hear most. Investors will have opinions. This is what I say most of the time. Investors will have opinions. To all my mentees, investors will have opinions, advisors will have opinions, but the customers are actually the ones that are paying. So always listen to the customers. Yes, do hear from advisors, do hear from investors, also from yourself, depending on your level of experience, but focus on listening more and more from customers, because they will tell you what their pain is and what they're willing to pay for you to take away, for the pain to take away. For what the final message I would leave for the first time, let's say, angel investors, I have this litmus test which helps me to learn the founder's character. So and it doesn't come just from listening to their pitch. Whatever I do, I'm trying to basically understand if there would be someone that I would be willing to work for. Mm-hmm. If I would be willing to work for them, chances are that others would be willing to work for them as well. But if I'm not willing to work for them, they're definitely not a good partner, because first off, I'm gonna have a hard time, working with them. But second, there's a high chance that others are not going to be willing to work with them, and if you cannot attract talent, you are not going to be that much successful. So that, as well as do not invest right away when you get started. Mm-hmm. Go join meetings, pitchings and stuff. If you can join like other investor groups where startups, companies pitch, go and listen to, 30, 40, 50 pitches before you actually invest. Try to understand how other fellow investors, are looking at things, questions they're asking, anything you can gather in terms of that knowledge that you're going to need to, when it comes to the time that you're going to make an investment, you're going to be well more rounded on your viewpoints. So that's basically, the message. Those are the messages that I would like to give to them.
Yeah, I agree. And also, be careful, and what you said is true. I think that's a great formula. Would I work with them? And one thing to add from my point of view, I think attracting talent is a gift, and that's very important. And I also think keeping a talent is a bigger gift, because it's easy to attract talent, but keeping them needs character, and not everyone has that ability to keep them. Because when you keep talent, then you build amazing businesses, So I think keeping is also, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the thought is more on the long term. You know, if I'd be willing to work with them. But yeah, definitely.
Because with that question, my answer would be maybe I would be attracted to working with them in the first place, but they might not be able to keep me.
Yeah,
So that's
could be.
like,
It
I
could
think
be.
attractive. Would I work with them? Would I go long term with them? So yeah. Thank
Definitely.
you so much, Shefqet, with a lovely name. Thanks to all of our listeners and anybody watching us in YouTube, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.